Did Nikola Tesla invent anti-gravity technology? The Lost UFO Files. We all know that Nikola Tesla was a man far ahead of his time. Tesla envisioned a future on planet Earth where free energy was available for everyone, but his ideas and inventions went far beyond electricity and energy. If it wasn't for Tesla, we'd probably still have no idea about radio, television, AC electricity, Tesla coil, fluorescent lighting, neon lighting, radio control devices, robotics, X-rays, radar, microwaves, and dozens of other amazing inventions. William Merlin, a Tesla scholar and author of the book Occult Ether Physics, states that among the manuscripts found in the scientist's house were numerous notes on anti-gravity. In his book, Lin says that Tesla spent the last years of his life collecting information on a revolutionary propulsion system that would use the ether's force to mobilize objects. The writer based his theory on the last lectures given by Tesla, in which he spoke of his latest discoveries, capable of changing all the conceptions related to physics known by man. The word occult refers to a secret or hidden. It is made known only to a select few initiates. Is it possible that an entire area of physics has been declared virtually occult and off limits to the public or to private individuals by a powerful group, so that all science education or data generally available to the public has been screened to eliminate references to it? Is it possible that the actual science involved in electropropulsion has been replaced with a bogus science which has been promoted to the extent that no one except the esoteric elite knows the truth? And if so, has the occult science become classified information to very few specially selected individuals? Since the truth about electropropulsion is based on ether physics, which has been collected, hidden away, or declared national security secrets, or intentionally obliterated by false propaganda, which is so intense that the general public remains unaware of the facts, which are right under their noses. I have dubbed the ether physics ultimately connected to electropropulsion, occult ether physics. Interestingly enough, Tesla's latest patent, filed in 1928, number 1,655,114, was that for a flying machine that resembled both a helicopter and an airplane. This vehicle used a revolutionary propulsion system that would have changed everything we knew about flight. Tesla had a great interest in flight, and specifically anti-gravity. He had everything figured out in his mind, and was putting his design onto paper. Tesla aimed at creating the ultimate flying machine, powered by energy that is found all around us, also known as ether. Before his death, Tesla had developed the blueprints for his propulsion system of his aircraft. He called it Space Drive, or the Anti-Electromagnetic Field Propulsion System. Tesla had big ideas, and he was quickly advancing with his theories. In 1938, he talked about two incredible discoveries. Lin details in his book that during the lecture for the Institute of Immigrant Welfare, Tesla mentioned his dynamic theory of gravity, and that this was one of two far-reaching discoveries, which I worked out in all details in the years 1893 and 1894. The dynamic theory of gravity, which assumed a field of force, which accounts for the motions of bodies in space. Assumption of this field of force dispenses with the concept of space curvature. The ether has an indispensable function in the phenomena of universal gravity, inertia, momentum, and movement of heavenly bodies, as well as all atomic and molecular matter and environmental energy. The discovery of a new physical truth: there is no energy in matter other than that received from the environment. This contradicts Einstein's E equals mc squared. Tesla made a reference to the theory, saying it applies to molecules and atoms, as well as to the largest heavenly bodies, and to all matter in the universe, and any phase of its existence, from its very formation to its ultimate disintegration. Those imbued with the relativist theory often refer to pure energy in some form, but there is no such thing, since energy is an abstract ability which is always in the future. Who's to say what form is pure and what form is not? As for Tesla's theory, we have hints such as The Earth is the star of human birth. In poetic expressions, he hid scientific meanings in statements such as that using the thunderbolt of Jove, the Indo-European sky god, or Zeus, man annihilates time and space, an allusion to the use of electropropulsion, thunderbolts, to travel so fast that time and space are annihilated. Where the governments have stolen his papers, we must search for the meaning elsewhere. In 1986, the United States Army later duplicated the Michelson-Morley experiment and had positive results, and they published the results in the scientific journal called Nature in August 1986. Bottom line is the field exists, the ether is real. So why don't we know about this? This should have made the cover of every newspaper and magazine around the world. This changes everything for the scientists, and perhaps this is why they choose to ignore it. All of Tesla's work is now in the possession of the military-industrial complex, which has had anti-gravity aircraft and directed energy weapons since the 50s because of Tesla's work. Also, his work is probably in the possession of the Trump family. The US government sent an expert from MIT upon Tesla's death to evaluate everything Tesla left behind. That expert was John Trump, President Trump's uncle. Trump, during his speeches, said that they would be introducing new forms of energy and curing HIV and cancer very soon.
We will push onward with new medical frontiers. We will come up with the cures to many, many problems, to many, many diseases, including cancer and others. And we're getting closer all the time. We will eradicate AIDS in America once and for all, and we're very close. We will lay the foundation for landing American astronauts on the surface of Mars.
Most people thought he was crazy, but among Tesla's work was resonant frequency technology that has the ability to destroy everything. But in this case, bacteria, fungus, and viruses, including disease cells. We do not need to live in a world of illness, but because of greed of the world's evil component of the 1%, this information was stolen, developed, and has been kept secret, and many people are killed to keep it that way. Why is that? Because there wouldn't be any profit in curing all illness and disease. Who knows what Trump did with that information? I have all the hope in the world we will one day soon see all diseases cured and free energy for all mankind. In an article called Man's Greatest Achievement, Tesla outlined his dynamic theory of gravity in poetic form. That the luminiferous ether fills all space, that the ether is acted upon, the life-giving creative force. The ether is thrown into infinitesimal whirls, microhelices, and near the speed of light becoming ponderable matter, that the force subsides and motion ceases. Matter reverts to ether, a form of atomic decay. Man can harness these processes too. Precipitate matter from the ether. Create whatever he wants with the matter and energy derived. Alter the Earth's size. Control Earth's seasons, weather control. To guide the Earth's path through the universe like a spaceship. Cause the collisions of planets to produce new suns and stars, heat and light. Originate and develop life in infinite forms. Tesla was referring to unlimited energy derived from the environment. Several of his major free energy discoveries have been the exclusive stolen property of our secret government. The conversion of energy to a stronger force, electropulsion, used to control the much weaker gravity force, would accomplish more work in the same amount of time and produce over-unity results. Tesla's ether consisted of carriers immersed in an insulating fluid which filled all space. Its properties varied according to the relative movement, the presence of mass, and the electric and magnetic environment. Tesla's ether was rigidified by rapidly varying electrostatic forces and was thereby involved in gravitational effects, inertia, momentum, especially in the space near Earth, since as explained by Tesla, the Earth is like a charged metal ball moving through space, which creates the enormous, rapidly varying electrostatic forces, which diminish in intensity with the square of the distance from Earth, just like gravity. Since the direction of propagation radiates from the Earth, the so-called force of gravity is toward Earth. Tesla commenced to complete his dynamic theory of gravity at the same approximate period of time that his experimental results and theories have been revealed in the 3 lectures, often illustrated with demonstrations using Tesla-invented equipment, as revealed in the following 8 excerpts. The most probable medium filling the space is one consisting of independent carriers immersed in an insulating fluid. In his experiments, he dwells first on some phenomena produced by electrostatic force, which he considers in the light of modern theories to be the most important force in nature for us to investigate. He illustrates how mechanical motions are produced by a varying electrostatic force acting through a gaseous medium. One of the most interesting results arrived at in pursuing these experiments is the demonstration of the fact that a gaseous medium, upon which vibration is impressed by rapid changes of electrostatic potential, is rigid. If through this medium, enormous electrostatic stresses are assumed to act, which vary rapidly in intensity, it would allow the motion of a body through it, yet it would be rigid and elastic, although the fluid itself might be devoid of these properties. On the assumption that the independent carriers are of any configuration such that the fluid resistance to motion in one direction is greater than another, a stress of that nature will cause the carriers to arrange themselves in groups, since they would turn to each other their sides of the greatest electrical density, in which position the fluid resistance to approach would be smaller than to receding. If in a medium of the above characteristics, a brush would be formed by a steady potential, an exchange of the carriers would go on continuously, and there would be less carriers per unit volume in the brush than in space at some distance from the electrode, this corresponding to rarefaction. If the potentials were rapidly changing, the result would be very different. The higher the frequency of the pulses, the slower would be the exchange of carriers. Finally, the motion of translation through measurable space would cease, and with a sufficiently high frequency and intensity of the stress, the carriers would be drawn towards the electrode, and compression would result. Tesla's inventions had no limits, and neither did his imagination. He was accused by many as a mad scientist, but he was much more than that. Today we could say that Nikola Tesla is without a doubt the father of modern technology. Tesla proved more than 100 years ago that gravity is nothing more than a secondary effect of an imbalance of other forces. Tesla currents can, in theory, create an anti-gravity state. There is no doubt that Tesla was far ahead of his time, despite the fact that modern physics has dismissed the importance of luminiferous ether. Nikola Tesla's theories remain sound and valid than anything before or since.